So one question that I would ask, and I think for a lot of people this is interesting stuff to sort of tease apart, is the difference between what you're describing, which is taking in the good, engaging in practices of cultivation that allow you to keep refocusing and extending in time, as I understand it, and really letting in the positive experiences of connection and safety, compassion, gratitude. How do we distinguish this for people from what might sound like a kind of spiritual bypass, right? Where you say, suffering is not real and your trauma is not something you should focus on because you already have a negativity bias, and any of that psychotherapy stuff that you're doing where you're digging in the dirt of your biography, give that up and just sit in the pure bliss of gratitude.
But not dualness of all that,
Yeah.
Well, good for you if you can just pull that off like that. Okay, so lots there. I know we're coming up against the time limit, so I'll try to be really succinct here. First off, the how of doing it, I summarize the fundamental how of learning. That's what we're talking about: growth, healing, development, cultivation, attainment over time. Even if that learning is a process of clearing the obscurations to true nature, whatever, it's still a process of change and development. And inside the natural frame, that must entail some underlying physical changes, particularly in your brain, which is the final common pathway of all the causes streaming through us to make this moment of consciousness. So to summarize that, a lot of stuff about the actual how of positive change. I summarize it with this easy to remember acronym: HEAL, H-E-A-L, have some kind of beneficial experience. Usually because you're already having it, which will go to the second question you have here, and I'll speak to that. You're already having a little moment of connection or gratitude or a sense of beauty or relief or inner strength or determination or a feeling of being cared about by other people. It's already there, okay? Or you deliberately create it. You deliberately call up compassion for someone who's a little aggravating, but they're suffering too. Or you deliberately pull up a sense of determination and fortitude because you've got to assert yourself in a tough situation, or whatever it is. It's okay to deliberately self-generate beneficial states of mind. Now you've got that state of mind. You've got a state going. How do you turn it into a beneficial trait? How do you help there be a lasting result from that otherwise transient, impermanent experience? And that's where the other letters of HEAL come in, where you enrich the experience. As you say, there are a number of factors that increase learning. They're very practical: duration, intensity, multimodality, just as rich an experience as possible, novelty, and salience, personal relevance. Those are kind of big five. Those tend to really increase consolidation in the neural networks of lived experience. So you enrich your experience 5, 10, 20 seconds in a row. Just kind of stay with it, open to it, and feel it really in your body. It's very practical. Then A for absorb, sense and intend that it's sinking into you. And then L for link, that's the optional step, in which you hold positive and negative material in the mind at the same time. Positive bigger. You want it to go into the negative, not the other way around. And that's a very beautiful way to heal old pain. For example, to feel cared about in this moment, and let that be a big experience with off to the side a sense of not being so cared about. That's the fundamental how of self-help. And if you engage that process half a dozen times a day, less than half a minute at a time, that's less than 5 minutes a day. But research I've done myself on a course I created to do this through University of California, and also other corroborating kinds of studies in other areas, you'll feel different at the end of that day. And you do that for a week or two in a row, you're going to start feeling really different. And then in particular, you can look for those key resource experiences. I call them your personal vitamin C. That will really help you the most. And then if you look for those particular experiences, your growth curve through life is turbocharged. And along the way, you start getting a curvilinear growth curve through life because you're learning how to learn along the way. You're getting better at getting better along the meta learning. So that's the essence. And then to deal with the very reasonable, objection, as it were, or caveat, let's see. First and foremost, we've got to be with what's there. We want to see reality altogether. We don't want to bypass anything, nothing left out, as they say in Zen. We really include it, and we want to honor it. And we want, feel the feelings, experience the experience, open to the depths of it all, first and foremost. Then on that foundation, we need to let go of what's problematic. We need to let tension flow out of the body. We need to release feelings. We need to abandon unwholesome desires. We need to disengage from, send packing, pathogenic beliefs, thoughts, cognitions of various kinds that get us into trouble. We need to let go of problematic habits, behavior patterns. And we also need to let in. We need to grow the good. So to me, that's the larger framework. And inside that, then, when you're growing the good inside yourself, generally you're doing it with experiences that are wholesome, beneficial. And those wholesome, beneficial experiences are usually enjoyable because our ancestors evolved reward systems to mark and motivate those experiences, which then are getting gradually hardwired into the brains of a crocodile or a squirrel or a mouse or a monkey or an early hominid or early human. Those experiences are becoming resources that promote survival of oneself, one's children, one's tribe altogether. And so it feels good because it is good. It feels good to be grateful because it is good to be grateful. It feels good to be loving or to feel loved or to feel good about yourself in a realistic sense. It feels good to accomplish things. It feels good to have a sense of calm strength inside. Those experiences are good for us. People tend to dismiss positive psychology or happiness as something kind of weird, as trivial.
Yeah.
No, that happiness is a flag that it's good for you and others to marinate in that experience, so it becomes a part of you. So increasingly your well-being is unconditional. It's not based on external conditions or effects or relationships. You carry it with you wherever you go. And so that's important to realize. The other thing, just to finish here, is that as you internalize what is beneficial, particularly that which helps you deal with your challenges in life these days, those vitamin C experiences, deal with your challenges and heal old pain, and take in today what was missing when you were a kid or in your last job or relationship. When you do that, you grow muscles and resources inside that you can then offer to the world. The best thing you can do for other people is to grow wholesome resources inside yourself. That's where you have the most direct power and influence. It's hard to change the world. It's hard to change other people. I've been married a long time. I've noticed, my wife's noticed it too. But anyway, but you can really intervene inside yourself, which is particularly has a bonus benefit because so many people have a sense of helplessness and being pushed around by life and their reactions to it. But inside your own mind, you always have some agency. You're always a cue ball instead of an 8-ball there, or at least you have the potential of being that. And so just finishing, as we cultivate these resources inside ourselves, we become happier and more effective, which is worth doing for it in its own right. We heal old pain. We develop resources inside ourselves that we can then offer to other people. And we grow those, we fill those holes inside, and that then enable us increasingly to open out into everything with no craving or clinging or selfing at all.